Hi, I'm Michelle Sterling for Friends of Science Society. We recently were pleased to have Ezra Levant as our guest speaker at our Climate Leadership Catastrophe event, and I spoke with him beforehand. I asked him about the financial costs of Alberta's plan to phase out coal. It's going to cost about $22 billion, $11 billion to build natural gas replacement capacity, and another more than $11 billion to compensate the present coal industry. And he had some very surprising comments that people don't really care in government whether or not there will be energy poverty. In fact, that's their mandate. Let's hear what he had to say.
When Rachel Notley, when Shannon Phillips, when Brian Topp and the other leaders of the Alberta NDP talk about getting off of fossil fuels, they mean it. And so the whole idea of the green shift, which is the whole idea of the carbon tax, is to make power so expensive that people use less of it. The whole idea behind a sin tax is to dissuade people from using that source. So energy poverty is not an unfortunate outcome. It is the deliberate outcome. So when you talk about a $22 billion extra charge, to you and I, that's crazy, that's a disadvantage, that's a reason not to do it. But if you believe that energy is evil, especially fossil fuel energy, if you believe in the ideology of reduce, reuse, recycle, well, what better way to make you reduce your life, reuse things, recycle, have a smaller life, travel less, be colder in the winter, hotter in the summer, have a smaller home, have a smaller car. The way to get you to do that, you would never choose to do that, but if it is so expensive to have power, to have energy, you'll do that. That's what the carbon tax, that's the whole ideology behind the green shift.
So in the context of Ontario, we have recently heard that Ontario is going completely to electricity, which is going to boost power prices way higher. And Ezra pointed out that the cost to phase out coal in Alberta, only $22 billion, is nothing by comparison to what's happening in Ontario.
I live in exile in Ontario now, and I can tell you that the green energy schemes of that province have given it the highest electricity prices in North America. And when you estimate a $22 billion fee for getting off coal, that is not unreasonable if Ontario was the model. And everything's going to get more expensive. Life will become harder, and it'll, obviously will never be, God forbid, like Venezuela. But look at Venezuela these days. Energy shortages in a country that has the world's largest energy reserves, even more than Saudi Arabia. How could that happen? Well, because of policy. When you demonize industry and capitalism and freedom, even in the midst of plenty, you can have shortage. And in Alberta, which is lucky enough to have coal and oil and gas, you will have energy poverty in Alberta because of the NDP, and ironically it'll hurt the lower economic strata the most, because of course if you're a millionaire, okay, so you pay an extra $5,000 a year for energy. If you're very poor, maybe you're paying an extra $1,000 a year in energy, but it's still hurting you, and don't tell me you're going to get a subsidy, because the price of everything's going to go up.
So in fact, these political parties that claim to believe in social justice and who want to help the poor and elevate the working man are actually putting in policies that will decimate the poor and destroy the working man and his or her job. For Friends of Science, I'm Michelle Sterling.